Welcome to the Eddie Bryan Show, and today I have one of the coolest cats in the game. Give it up for my man Wes Felton right here, man.
Hello, peace world.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Just want to let y'all know, I got a little something, little hair,
AKA baby hair. If the people who don't know, Wes is a writer, musician, producer, film producer,
actor. I'm trained. My degree is in theater, acting.
Acting.
That's really
like you are like a straight up Renaissance man.
Yeah,
like, you know, you cover the whole gamut.
Absolutely.
If people have not seen you or heard of you, what would they experience if they met Wes Felton?
Well,
or seen you perform?
I'm from DC originally. My dad was a jazz musician named Hilton Felton, who was original Soul Searcher. So when you hear all those old records, like Bustin' Loose, We the People, that's my dad playing organ on all those things. So I grew up, being taken care of and being taught how to love your family and your passion by a guy actually doing it before the internet. He was doing it by playing the piano. But I had an older brother and sister, so he had done that even before I came there. So in terms of musically, that's just where I started. But I'm from DC, like I said, and I went to study theater at Carnegie Mellon University up in Pittsburgh. And while I was up there, I started a music career while I was up there on the low within the city. I was putting out tapes. My whole spiel was putting out 90 minutes worth of music. So you buy a tape. What? It's 90 minutes from side A and side B. At that time, I think Pittsburgh didn't really have too hardcore of a hip-hop scene. So I linked up with the artists that I thought were the strongest and producers I thought were the strongest at that time.
Yeah.
So then I started putting tapes in the record stores there and people buying them and doing shows. So when I came back to DC after college, I came back to teach. When I came back, I noticed a lot of people were poets and all that, and I was like, well, I did that when I was in high school, so.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me rhyme and sing on these bambas. Linked up with a dude, Raheem Devon, who was with this group called Tree of Soul, and I noticed that he had like a standout kind of thing, so I grabbed him and said, come on, man, let me mold you a little bit. You got the talent, so come up on here. And long story short, since then, I've had the opportunity to write and record for Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I worked with Michelle Ndegeocello, De La Soul.
Wow.
I don't know who other people that are. A lot of people.
Yeah, I know a lot of people.
But more of the story is I'm the guy who has been able to maintain his independence as well as ownership of his craft and his music.
Yeah.
While being able to make appearances and do work with a lot of famous people.
How many albums do you have?
I think to date, because I put out two. I put out one for Black History Month, and I just put out one for 420 on Monday. So I got probably about a total of, I think now we're about like 32 records.
32 albums. Indie.
Since 1995 up to now.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What was your first song that you wrote? What was it about?
The first song I wrote was a song called Beautifully Absurd. And it was so deep because the jump was once, twice, will there be a third? Love ain't nice, it's beautifully absurd. That was the hook. And so it was a story about a dude who, where he starts off saying, yesterday I fell in love again, but the game she played showed she couldn't be my friend. And now I know you can't fall in love overnight. Mama told me so. I never thought it would happen to me twice. Once, twice. So as the song progresses, it gradually tells you the story like, oh snap, now I found this joint, but wouldn't you know, she fucked around and, boned one of my friends.
Yes, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? That's what happened in the third. So that was the first actual song that I actually wrote and structured in that format. And I was fortunate enough where Prince Paul heard a version of it and put it on his record called Politics of the Business.
Wow!
Yeah, man.
See?
So I did that. So I'm on that record with De La and all those other people. I'm like the only unknown dude on that album. Chuck D, everybody.
Chuck D and everybody's on that joint. That joint is like a classic album. You're the unknown guy on the classic album.
Man.
So, you're keeping your independence.
Yeah.
You're keeping your independence. And we hear this term, starving artists.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the adversity of not succumbing to the industry and going your own way?
Well, I think that the key is, for me, I decided at a very young age, first of all, what type of individual I wanted to be. And that was an individual. So no matter what I decided to do, I was never going to take on somebody else's approach to it, right? I can honestly say that's what has sustained me, my ability to really identify myself out the gate. So therefore, you know, I don't have to chase trying to be like, have that hit record, or chase trying to be relevant towards, you know, or be cool with other people, or as popular as other artists in my region or in the industry. Because my true fan base and the people that actually support me don't expect that of me.
Right.
So it's almost like when it's like every time I like let somebody get in my ear and make me lean a little bit more into the commercial world or to the mainstream world, that shit is always a flop.
Wow.
It's like it's like usually the most embarrassing moments for me, I can say, as a creative type.
Yeah.
Because those people, you know, a lot of people desire, you know, I know for yourself, having friends and know comedians and entertainers, I know there's people in your life, personal, professional, that look at you and be like, yo, man, what's that nigga doing up there? You need to be to this. But sometimes you gotta, what I've been trying to get people to understand is that I've never been a dude that ever looked at somebody and said, yo, I want to be like them. Never. Even to this day, like, I can't even name you my favorite actor or favorite song, right? None of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's different. That's different because, like, I know for me, when I saw Richard Pryor,
sure,
or Eddie Murphy, how do I do?
But here's the deep thing. When I saw Eddie Murphy and when I saw Richard Pryor, I thought, hey, how can I do that but not as a comedian? You know what I'm saying?
So you
like, that's my whole, like, so I rather, so when I look at myself, I will say, I'll be honest, I look at people like Sammy Davis Jr., Paul Robeson, Gregory Hines. You know, when people refer to them, they refer to them by their names. They don't refer to them by the various art forms or mediums that they chose. Because they could do a variety of them. So my thing is, I come from that school, and I notice as time has gone on in our generation, and it's definitely for black people, the concept of the individual or the lack of diversity amongst black men, we gradually have decreased that. So, you know, as a black dude growing up, people would always be like, yo, man, why don't you decide what you want to do or what you want to be? And I'd be like, what you mean? I'd be like, don't you know that there was somebody named Sammy Davis Jr. and somebody named Paul Robeson and Gregory Hines who were able to sing, rap, dance, do whatever, act, and they were able to do their thing, you know,
successfully in their own right.
And I think that a lot of times, because we're forced to kind of compete against each other as black men, I think that society and the consumer has been brainwashed to even do that, or force us, or try to push us
the artists to push you in that direction.
So I always been on that, like, yo, I'm me. I don't roll with no crew. I got various aliases and groups I roll with, but I'm trying to make my I've been trying to make my own brand before that was cool to say.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like before niggas really had the confidence to say, I'm trying to make a brand versus trying to get put on. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I've been working on my brand since I was like 7 years old. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah.
So what? Okay.
And everybody that we know that's really made it, what society don't understand is that, we see them now, but you got to look back and really do the research. So when you see a Bruno Mars or a Jay-Z or Justin Timberlake or Beyonce, they've been doing it since 7.
Yeah.
So in instance for them, it took them 20-something, 30-something years
to turn that
to
point.
finally get
That's how it is for comedians.
Oh, I know, for sure.
They say, "Oh, Kevin came out of nowhere." I was like, "No." I remember when he was making, he was doing little shows, and then he did this and he did this. You know,
I used to sell T-shirts right down the street from here with my man Sam I Am, aka Huggy Lowdown, right here at Benning Road and Minnesota Avenue. We had a T-shirt stand. I remember it was at that time period when niggas was really conflicted because half of our shirts said would have things like each one must teach one, and then the other jokes would be like shirts with Uzis on them or chronic leaves.
Yeah, I think I've been in that stand before. I think I went school shopping there.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I know that I respect that comedian. Now I won't say the struggle because I don't like to use that word struggle. The process.
It's the process.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't understand the process. People like the perks of what we do. The process is what they don't get.
They don't get sometimes.
Yeah.
Who's the one person that you would think is the biggest influence to keep you pushing to chase your dream?
Well, I say my dad first and foremost because in this country, ultimately, and that's something that and second is my son. So let me just show him why they both are that. It's first my father because I really, even though he has 3 children, I think because I came at a later time, I was able to really observe him, and he was at a different stage in his career when I came around, where he was a little bit more affluent and had more accomplishments up to that point.
Yeah.
I was able to say, it made me really realize, even though my brother had my dad's name, I'm really the person that's supposed to take on the legacy and the lineage of my dad's name, as it applies to the family business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that I'm just a child who went into the family business. Okay. My brother went into the other family business, which is ministry, which is preachers, But my dad, all his brothers were preachers. His father was a preacher, but he was the one who chose to be an artist.
He went his own way.
I'm an artist. My brother's a minister. My sister's a minister. My mom, you understand what I mean? I was the one who chose to kind of take on that part of the family business. But for me, it was more kind of identifying the same way that there's descendants of George Washington and descendants of whoever, the long money in this country,
right.
The people who we walk around with their pictures on our pockets and all that, right? I realized okay, well, that's my dad off the break is gonna be who I am because I identified what he was working on. Even though his father was a preacher, he was still trying to be a name that could be remembered. That was a greater name. That was an extension of him, of his. So my dad, before he passed away, I was fortunate where, I would say probably about 10 years of my life, it became no longer, oh, you Hilton Felton's son, to where it gradually shifted to, oh, you W. Ellington Felton's dad, or you Wes Felton's dad. And I know that always made him feel good. Now, speeding it up, my son, I got an 11-year-old son who,
who also put out an album.
Who put a record out. He a beast.
Yeah.
He, I timed out a major part of my career for the last 10 years to be there with him. So I passed up. So around that time when he was born, that's when Raheem signed his deal and everybody else kind of started, and I was still doing tours here and there, but I was really stationary to be a part of, be a part of his thing. So I would say that those are the 2 people. So when my dad and seeing the example that he set, and he lived in a time he didn't have what we have. He didn't have the means to go online and sell his stuff himself, but he was trying to do that at a time where independence. It was a joke. It was a real joke.
Yeah, record by record by record.
But he was actually out here pumping it. I'm about to put out 4 of his 45s that I found that are brand new in mint condition. I'm about to sell them Jones for at least $650 a piece. 45s. That's just one song. You know what I'm saying? But that's the gold that he left me. And is there ever a time where I needed to be able to be I need a quick bag real quick, and I can go to go to the resources. So with my son Tobias, I'm trying to kind of show him that it's a legacy. It's like, you know, your name or your body may pass away and go away, but your name and your influences will live on forever. So those, I would say those are the two that just basically motivate me nonstop. So when I became a dad, it made me keep going. But now that my son's at an age now where we can really engage each other and he understands what daddy does, now I'm like, I'm like, yes.
But what are some of the key messages that you are trying to send out through the art?
Well, the first thing is, you know, I grew up on 58th Street, which is like even further way over that way.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't even realize that DC, even the numbers go up that high in the city. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in a neighborhood where they were kidnapping kids and parents to do certain drug-related things. You know, I remember waking up periodically different nights and hearing, you know, a gunshot and look out my side window and there's a body laying out.
Yeah. I grew up in Brentwood.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I remember growing up all night hearing cars just speeding, looping around the block over and over, and you just praying that they don't hit your mother's car or run into your house or run into your neighbor's shit, because they always would end up crashing or just until the gas run out and then they set it on fire and then you find out it'd be some, you know, minivan or something they stole from Maryland or something.
Right.
So what's the question though? I'm gonna bring it full circle.
What are the messages that?
So the message that I send is, I share all of that because, you know, in my neighborhood, you know, I was on Teen Summit. I eventually went to school in other parts of the city, but I always had to come back to that environment in that neighborhood. So in no way could I ever like be false. So when I was on Teen Summit, every Saturday it was live. I go to the studio around the corner over here, Brentwood, record. You know, we do it live, so niggas in the hood would watch the shit on cable, and then I had to come back. And if I in any way ever reflected something that was false than what I was, I would have to hear about it.
Yeah.
Now, in my music, I've always chosen to try to attempt to keep that representation. So the way 50 Cent or a Chief Keef or whoever claim that they repping where they from, I'm a nigga who always wanted to rep. Like, yeah, I'm from them places too. But not only did I choose to not settle for the easy options of the hood, those niggas wouldn't let me settle.
Yeah.
And so often the stories that are often heard is that there's this perception that like, if you from the hood, that niggas be like, yo, nigga, sell drugs, nigga. Right? And I'm like, nah, I remember them being like, no, dude, like, if me ever trying that, they be like, the fuck you doing out here? Go in the house.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, my mother tripping, she ain't trying to buy me these Jordans, or she ain't trying to, nigga, go in the house. What size shoe you in? Go in the house.
Right.
Next thing I know, a couple days later, knock on the door, hit, nigga. Stay your ass in the house.
Right.
That ain't for you.
That ain't for you.
Different. So I've always tried to be that representative.
Yeah.
I tried to be that dude that like tried to show that there's different stories that come from the hood.
See?
And I've always believed that if I stay true to that, I would get to those people. And those are the people that I would connect with. So even to this day.
That's how you connect with me.
Hey.
Because I was the same guy over here in Brentwood, not 58th, I'm on the other side of the east, and they wouldn't let me fuck around at all.
Yeah.
And my cousins and uncles, cold gangsters, take your ass to school.
Yeah.
And that's what you're gonna do.
I remember I was the first nigga in my hood with a tattoo. They called me a white boy, man. They was like, nigga, you crazy. Who the fuck do you think you are? Dennis Rodman or somebody? But I was like, nigga, I was the first dude, you know. So like I was always just on my own time and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those dudes didn't make me feel less a part of that community or less of a man for simply trying to be myself.
Yeah.
Now if I would have been one who tried to conform and not be who I was or be some other shit,
yeah,
then it might have been different. But the other thing is I played ball too, so basketball I played, you know, I was always a dude that could make the basketball team too. So
I could not.
yeah. So I
could not.
That was the other bridge.
Yeah. I was only doing the hood, played tennis.
Nice.
Killer tennis. Rock Creek Park. Used to go to summer camp every summer.
Why you got Thunder hat on, man?
Well, Kevin Durant is
yeah.
KD.
They still wishing for him to come here.
Well, I hope we're looking for Kevin to come to DC. We're hoping so.
I heard rumor he might go to New York, no?
Yeah, maybe. You know, he's big enough.
Yeah.
I think, you know, but nevertheless, we'll support the home.
That's right.
So, but it is bullets all day. All right. So let's see. I want to do word or so. Well, finish the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Without music, I would be
A terrorist.
a terrorist. Okay. When I'm on stage, I feel
Safe.
safe. Before I get on stage, I feel
Exposed.
yeah. All right. Not only am I an artist, but I'm also a
Soldier.
support art because
It will outlast anything else.
W. Ellington Felton, ladies.
What they say? What happened when Rome? They said what? Rome. It took time, but it was torn down in one night though.
Yeah.
But they said what was going on? Just like when the Titanic, what was going on? The band was still art. Instead, you know. So yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah,
Is
bro.
there anything like you want people to? You want to, message how do they connect with you? You say
I mean,
part of words.
you know,
what would you say to a artist that's coming up? Because we see a lot of cookie cutter.
Oh yeah.
It's the same. If I do trap, then I'm gonna get on.
Right.
Or if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get on.
Right.
How can they find their voice? In what would you say to them?
What I would say to them is that's just it. Seek for your own voice, but before you do anything, decide the type of human being that you want to be first and foremost. What's the purpose and the impact that you want to make in this world? Before you decide, like, whether you want to be this or that or that, but first decide what type of human being and what you want to be able to contribute to this world as a human being. And then you decide which means and which tool that you want to use to execute that. Because a lot of times people so often, they see the success of one person and they don't realize that that person is that person because there was no other person like them. And that's what makes them who they are. And so what you want to seek out is definitely now in the music industry or the entertainment industry, you gotta be an individual, man. You gotta decide that off the jump. But if you're a conformist, just as a person, if you decided that, like, hey, the type of human I want to be, I want to just go along with the flow and be easily influenced, and you want to be an artist or whatever, you wasting your time. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah.
That was proven this week with your man Tyler, the Creator, and Young Thug. How Young Thug had all this hype and even the controversy or whatever, and he barely charted.
Yeah.
But then you got this dude Tyler, who them dudes on some other shit or whatever. A lot of people weren't checking for them, but he decided to put out a record the way he wanted to put out his thing, minus the hype. And it always goes to show you, like, the imposters always kind of,
The cream does round to the
yeah,
you just keep it.
So I know that.
So
I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I'm telling you, I know it's hard. It's hard. But the sooner you decide the type of human that you want to be, all of that other stuff, whatever type of lawyer, doctor, rapper, whatever you want to be, singer, it'll become so much easier for you, because you will be no longer living based on the standard or the reflection of somebody else, but you'll start really reflecting yourself and the actual people, you know, that really impact and influence you and make you who you are. So that's my advice. Decide the type of human being you want to be first, and then put it into your art.
Into your art. Where can the people find you?
People can find me online, you know, Instagram, things like that, Wes Felton DC. Twitter, just at Wes Felton.
Your website?
wesfelton.bandcamp.com. That's the best. I like that place. That's a fair site. You know, they pay fairly. You know, iTunes and all that stuff, it's all good. I got things on there, but you know, there are some companies out here who are really owned and operated by artists, and they're really trying to find out ways to, you know. So I'm an advocate for Bandcamp. When you buy one of my records from Bandcamp, I immediately get the money. I ain't gotta wait for months or pray and wish that iTunes or whoever else are being honest with, you know, the percentages. That's you know. So I tell people, go to bandcamp.com.
I'm gonna put it right there on the screen. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you, sir.
Wes Felton, ladies and gentlemen, please support him. Definitely get his albums, all 32.
Yeah.
I need a copy.
Yeah, and a bunch of them are free. Now, you go on Bandcamp, you know, I would say out of the 32, 7 of them are free.
Yeah.
So then you can get on there, you know, and you get it. All the records with Raheem, everybody. Yeah.
Wes Felton, ladies and gentlemen. TheEddieBryanShow.com. Keep it locked, man. We about to check out a performance by this gentleman right here. Stay tuned.